welcome back to Toy Monster. What's up, Chris?
Ba weep, krana weep, mini bon.
Whatever the fuck that means.
It's the universal greeting.
From where?
Transformers.
Yeah, I know Transformers, but not that well.
Oh, well. I speak fluent.
We had a couple suggestions
Yeah, you were talking
throughout the week.
Yeah.
We need to introduce ourselves. So
Sure.
I'm Nick. This is Chris.
I am Chris.
We do tattoos for a living.
Yeah. How long you been doing it?
22 years.
All right.
Yep.
I got 17.
And we love toys, and we love movies.
Yes, we love doing tattoos of toys and movies.
Yes, we do. And nostalgia. And that's who we are. So
Yeah.
now you guys know who we are. And we can go from there.
It's nice to meet you.
If you have, it's nice to meet all of you. If you have any questions, please DM us. We'll answer them. Probably not. Just kidding. We will. Yeah. So how's the week going?
Oh, pretty good.
I've been with you most of it, but
Yeah. Yeah. Same old. Yeah.
did you score anything good this week?
Yeah, I've actually, I don't know if you know PlayStation games very well, but I acquired one of my grails, and it's a game called Alundra. Remember, I was telling you.
Yes.
Alundra.
You said it was very Zelda-like.
Exactly.
Ish.
My controversial take on it. Here it is.
Okay. Let's hear it.
It's, if you want to play a good Zelda game,
Oh,
play
God
Alundra. So go find it. It's relatively expensive, so good luck. But I was able to acquire it, and I'm super stoked, man. It's in the mail right now. And,
that's always the best.
yeah.
When things are in the mail.
yeah,
almost
I
there.
can't wait. When I get it here, I'm gonna have to order something else. So there's another thing in the mail.
That has been me for like the last 2 months, straight up.
Yeah,
Yep. I have a package sitting at my house right now, and I already know what it is.
right.
It's that sweet bootleg. I've been all about bootlegs this week.
Right. Well, what you got that one on accident?
I got the
and
one
then
on
here-
accident
and then here we
yesterday,
are.
which was Night of the Creeps.
Yeah.
I didn't pay attention to it close enough at the store, or not at the store, but at the boutique that I got it from.
Right.
Because the logo looks identical to the old 70s, 80s Warner Brothers.
Well, the case is
The case and everything looks spot on. I'm like, oh man, I don't have this. But then if you look at it close enough, the logo's actually flipped because the company's called Monolith.
Right.
So they just flipped it, so it looks like an M instead of a W.
Oh, the company that made
The guy that made it.
bootleg.
Yep, just
Okay.
one guy making a bootleg.
Yeah.
And then actually, after that happened, I was online last night and actually ran across his fucking page, and I'm like, hey man, got this, fucking awesome. He's like, hey, just make sure you watch it all the way through because there's bonus shit at the end of the tape. I'm like, you went so far to make a bonus at the end of a tape. That's amazing.
You're gonna have to break out the old VHS.
I got one sitting there,
There you
right
go.
there in my TV. Just got to hook it up.
You're the only person on this planet.
That has a VCR?
Yeah. Well, you and Ian.
Yeah. Yep. So I got that, and then at my house right now that just showed up today is a bootleg copy of Return of the Living Dead, but it's a theatrical release, so something's different about it, and I can't remember what the description is. Anything Return of the Living Dead I get stoked on.
Sure.
So I will buy it immediately and be like, yep, I'll either be disappointed or not. It doesn't matter. I already have fucking 20 copies of that movie.
Is this bootleg from that same guy?
Nope.
Oh.
Someone's
So-
totally different. This is like a Blu-ray bootleg.
So maybe no extras on this one.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Who knows what it is?
Right.
They claim
That's
it's a
exciting.
theatrical release, so I don't know what the difference is. I probably already have whatever release it is on some bonus disc that I have.
Yeah.
That's okay. It had a whole different cover. The Blu-ray box is green. I don't own it.
Yeah.
That's all that fucking
Yeah.
matters.
No, all those with Return also. I was looking at stuff like that, for Return of the Living Dead, and there's like a million different covers. There's a million different copies of it. A million different special features.
Yep.
You know, like, and I don't know where to start, but easily top 10 film.
100% one of mine too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I also have, so when you said you'll buy something as soon as the other one gets here, I already did that. So I already have someone on the way, and I was telling you about it earlier. I cannot remember the name of them though. They're like little cardboard boxes that came with like reusable stickers with a scene on the box that you could peel the stickers off and place them on. They're like plastic reusable stickers.
Yeah.
And it's Gremlins.
Yeah. See, I'm trying to picture what you were talking about. It's like I kind of remember that.
Yeah, I just can't remember because I had a Pee Wee Herman one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just comes with stickers. You peel the stickers, you put it on the background or whatever whatever's in that box, and you just change the scene. I mean, it's nothing crazy, but I bought the box more than anything, dude.
Is it anything like those books that they used to have, like the movie books where you could get the scenes out of the movies? You got to collect the stickers.
Oh,
remember
no.
in each little empty box?
No. I'll have to repost it and just tell everybody about it because there's no way in hell I'm ever going to remember what the name of it is.
I don't really know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'll show you. They're not that great, but the fact that it's Gremlins, which is one of my other all-time favorite movies ever on the face of this earth.
Are you going to build a scene?
Only if it's tore apart. I can't remember the description exactly. I can't remember if it's been used or not.
I gotcha.
But it's going to be a hell of a fucking piece to display in my house.
Yeah. No, that sounds great.
Super excited about it. So I decided this week we're going to walk into the 1990s. You know, we'll just say somewhere between 90 and 95-ish.
Yeah.
We're younger then. On a Saturday morning.
Saturday mornings are slamming on CBS with Dinky Little Dinosaur. You sure? The California Raisins.
We're the kings of rock and roll.
The Muppet Babies.
Now what?
Pee-wee's Playhouse. Come on over. And Garfield and Friends. Saturdays.
This is CBS.
You're not at school. You don't have to get up. You don't have to get on a bus. You don't have to be anywhere. You could sleep in if you wanted to. Maybe you had some chores to do. I don't fucking know. I personally got up at the ass crack at dawn.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have to be at school.
No,
and the first thing I did was walk into that kitchen, pour a bowl of giant cereal.
Yeah.
Depending on what they had. And my mom was notorious for buying malto meal because we were poor. So it was giant bags of cereal. Never a box. I never had some cool ass box of cereal sitting in the cupboard waiting because there's 3 other children in the house. And that box would be eaten in like 5 seconds. So the chances are I probably ate like the world's biggest bowl of Captain Crunch.
I've made Crunchberry cereal even more exciting with new blue and purple Crunchberries. What will people think?
Blue, purple.
He likes it.
I love this blue. I love this purple.
I'm very excited by these new Crunch Berries. Very excited.
Everyone loves my blue and purple Crunchberries.
Malto meal Captain Crunch, which I cannot remember the name of the guy. It probably had some stupid name like Crunchy Crunch or some shit like that. It was the best thing ever. And then I plopped my ass in the middle of the living room and watched TV at 6 o'clock in the morning. How about you?
I mean, it went pretty much the same. We would have, every now and then my mom would get the good cereal, right? But you could have one small bowl of that.
Yeah, because you had siblings as well.
Right, the name brand. But then the multi-meal ones, because they were the giant, like 19-pound bags of cereal.
Yep.
As much as you want. And so, like, I was just, but only on Saturdays, right? Like, you weren't allowed to do that.
I didn't really, because there was no time to sit down, eat a bowl of cereal, and watch cartoons. I mean, in between, you might be able to catch a cartoon in the mornings on a weekday before school.
Oh,
but
yeah, there was a couple.
not a lot, unless you want to get up early. And I did not want to wake up ass early. But what were you watching? Do you remember?
Was I watching?
There was so many cartoons on Saturdays in the 90s.
There was a whole bunch of really, really good stuff. I remember most prominently Ninja Turtles.
Absolutely.
Very,
on
very
CBS.
Good. Yeah.
CBS had some good ones because I remember watching the Muppet Babies. I watched a lot of Muppet Babies.
Was that a
on
Saturday
Saturdays.
morning cartoon?
Yes, sir, it was.
Huh.
It was before it went all syndication.
Yeah. There was a few that really stuck out in my mind. With I think like Ghostbusters was on. You know, we've already discussed that. But still awesome. Darkwing Duck, I remember, was on in the mornings. The Pirates of Darkwater. We were
talking about that. That was a good one.
That was a good one. There was, those are the ones that like nobody really remembers. So I showed you Pirates of Darkwater. I showed you Arthur and the Knights of Justice.
And then, from the field of the future, a new king will come to save the world of the past.
I don't remember that one.
Had the most rocking intro.
That was a pretty good intro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So things like that. And these are things that like we didn't really have the toys for, which was strange. You know, like they were so niche that very few toys came out for these things. You know, it was a lot of Ninja Turtles. But Yeah, it was all those like those types of shows. You know, like I remember getting up to catch. You had to catch X-Men when that came out, right? You had to catch that because that was one of the first times that I experienced continuity in a cartoon where
Yep, it just continued.
right every week it was more to the story from the last. So X-Men,
Yep.
Spider-Man was the same way. That cartoon's really awesome.
I didn't catch any of those ones.
No, you didn't catch those.
No.
Well, what did you have? What was your favorite to wake up to?
So when I woke up, the first thing that was on, because it'd probably been playing since 6 a.m, was Muppet Babies. So I'd be eating cereal watching that. And then I remember after Muppet Babies, there was either Ninja Turtles. I believe there was Ninja Turtles. Garfield was on at some point, which I watched the hell out of that.
Right.
I never stopped watching that. I still watch that if it's on TV. I never get tired of that. There's just something about everything but the Barnyard episodes. I can't remember the name of that show that's on that. Because remember how it was split in two? Garfield was split in two. So you get like 15 minutes of Garfield, and then there'd be like a 10-minute clip of, or 10-minute episode of, God damn, I can't remember the name of it. But it happened in a barnyard.
Oh.
And then,
No, I don't
then you get like another 5 or 10 minutes of Garfield. Yeah, you had the little egg that ran around. God damn it!
Oh, was it the egg with the legs?
with the legs?
Yeah.
yeah. That was part of Garfield.
Oh, I don't.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember.
I'd watch
what the
that
hell
shit,
was.
and then 10 o'clock came around.
Yeah.
Getting my second bowl of cereal, even though I've already eaten 2 hours before. Or my mom was making breakfast, even though I'd already been up, and I'd sit down and watch Pee-wee, the greatest show ever on the face of the earth.
What channel was that on?
CBS.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. Anytime that thing came on, I was like, yep, Pee-wee's Playhouse. It's on. Like, this is the greatest. I don't know why, but
Yeah.
holy shit, Pee-wee was the best.
Well, it was everything. It had everything.
And every star before they were famous.
Yeah.
I still watch fucking Pee-wee, dude. I was like, not too long ago, last week or the week before, like, I found a channel on Prime that was playing Pee-wee.
Yeah.
For like 2 days straight. And I'm like, watching this.
Yeah.
I just picked up Pee-wee's, was it Pee-wee's Christmas special on VHS?
Ah.
Yeah.
Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
I could watch that too.
Fun fact: that was my first introduction to Twisted Sister.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the first time.
Yeah,
I ever
when they're
heard
on the car and he's riding through Hollywood.
Gonna burn in hell. I fucking love that dude. He's running through that. What is the movie studios?
Yeah, all the studios.
yeah.
Oh, that's so
It's
good.
like, fell in love with Twisted Sister after that.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what else I'd be watching Pee-wee, and then as soon as 10:30 hit, depending on my age, I'd switch over to NBC because I'd watch Saved by the Bell.
That's strange.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a good show, but like, I don't know, for a younger Nick to watch Saved by the Bell.
I wasn't always this weird dark kid that liked weird
well,
shit.
I mean, it's just not cartoon.
It was on TV.
You know, like-
It was on TV. If I woke up early enough, you could always catch Camp Candy.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch that one?
Yeah.
And John Candy actually voiced himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one. You can still find episodes on YouTube.
Well, and that was a strange time too, because you had mentioned that Roseanne had a show,
Yeah, I think it was NBC.
right?
NBC or ABC. I can't remember. Yeah, it was kind of like Louie, like you said.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
Louie.
There was Louie Anderson. I don't know if anybody remembers.
Always
that.
been. I mean, if they're our age group, they should. If you're old enough, you should know who the fuck.
Bobby's World. You know, another
Watch the fuck out of that.
comedian with a TV show. And now that was a little different, but it was still Howie Mandel just doing Howie Mandel.
Yeah.
And-
Yeah.
That was probably the best one. I think that was the best one.
I kind of still remember that intro of him riding around on his
Yeah.
3-wheeler. Is that what they called those things?
It's a trike.
Was it a trike? Oh, I guess it was.
No, the big wheel.
I was thinking, yes, the big wheel.
big wheel.
It was either a big wheel or a trike, and he's
Yeah.
just hauling ass in that thing. And
Yeah.
his imagination is flying everywhere. Oh man, that was so good. Damn it! If you go on YouTube right now, you can not right now, but you get a minute. You can literally find 3-4 hour blocks of Saturday morning cartoons from whatever year you want to pick. It's the wildest thing ever.
Do they have the commercials?
Yep.
No way.
Yes.
Dude.
Yes.
I loved-
on your day off, the commercials were some of the best shit ever
Yeah.
because you'd be like, yeah, I need that. Yep, need that.
Yeah. It just like the creativity in 90s commercials was off the chart.
Agreed. And they don't have that at all now.
No.
I saw toy commercials now and I'm like, dude, these suck.
Yeah, the toy commercials suck. And like I said, I think we talked about a couple episodes ago was all I get is medicine and car commercials. Like everything's like now targeted to you.
Yep.
And it's like, well, I'm in my 40s and they think I'm dying and I need a new car.
It just depends on what you're watching, I guess. Well, no, that's not true because they do that on Hulu as well. Because I'll get like, I don't care about Liberty Insurance.
Yeah. I'll be watching cartoons with my son and on the streaming services and stuff, and we'll still get fucking car commercials. They think they know that I'm watching it. Unless they're trying to sell my son a car.
It's under your name. They're trying to sell your kid hair growth medicine.
Yeah, right.
Hey, kid, take this.
Yeah, get ready for the dark times of life.
You'll have luscious locks if you take this. He's like, Dad, can we get some hair medicine?
I really liked the Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon.
I watched a little bit of that. Not a lot.
That was, like being a Sega fan, and Sonic was fucking huge.
I've been playing
around that time, especially.
I've been playing the hell out of Sega games on my Switch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking great.
Yeah. Well, what else? I mean, what shows did you watch that spurred your toy collection? Like, what did you go, Mom, I need this toy?
Ninja Turtles for one. Absolutely. Like, that's just a given in any. If you're a fucking collector and you don't like Ninja Turtles, get the fuck out of here. Are you really a collector? Like, serious. So Ninja Turtles was the top one.
Yeah.
And then after that, there was.
I had Gargoyles toys. I loved Gargoyles.
Yep. Yeah, because you're a couple years younger than me, so I never really got into Gargoyles. Did they play Gargoyles during like the Disney lineup on TV?
Yeah.
Like after school?
Yeah.
Did they have a Saturday morning one? Like a Saturday morning Disney block?
It was part of it. Yeah. It was part of the Saturday morning lineup for a minute.
Huge Pee-wee, because Pee-wee was such a fucking child. Also the reason why I'm like claymation, toys.
Right.
Bright colored, ridiculous. Because come on, let's face it, the 90s, just bright colors everywhere.
Yeah.
Like the brighter, the better. If it wasn't, was it even real? Like for real.
Not for us.
But to go back to the commercials, that's another reason because every cartoon had toys pretty much. Like I'd say 90%. And they'd be like, buy this. I'm like, Mom, buy this. She's like, you don't fucking need that.
Right.
But there's so much good shit, dude. Like,
right. You'd watch the cartoon. They'd introduce new stuff that is going to be a toy, right? Especially with Ninja Turtles, for instance.
Yep.
New character. He's going to be a toy. Okay, I'm gonna be stoked to buy that toy. Then they have a commercial for Ninja Turtles, and it's all the kids playing with Ninja Turtles, and you're just like, fuck, I want to be a part of that.
Yep. Same with He-Man.
They were just like hammering the advertisement.
I mean, like we said last time, He-Man was before the cartoon.
Right.
But it still went hand in hand.
Only barely, but yeah.
Yeah, not by much.
Yeah.
God damn, what else? What about you? Besides Gargoyles, I'm trying to rack my brain right now to see what.
Well, like I said, I liked the weird stuff.
Toxic Crusaders.
Yeah, Toxic Crusaders was a good one. Reboot. Reboot was one of my favorite cartoons.
I come from the net, through systems, peoples, and cities, to this place, Mainframe. My format, Guardian, to mend and defend, to defend my newfound friends, their hopes and dreams, to defend them from their enemies.
I don't know that one.
Oh, really?
No.
Yeah.
Never even heard of it.
It was fully CG. So if you can imagine.
Oh. In the 90s.
Yeah, 90s CG.
Okay.
Dude.
So very blocky.
Not really. Like it's hard to describe, but it was kind of cutting edge in a way. Very, very adult-esque humor. Like they had there's a Halloween I think it was a Halloween episode. There was an episode that was an entire homage to The Evil Dead.
What?
Yeah. So like
it's called Reboot?
It's called Reboot. It takes place in inside a computer, and it's just pop culture references. It's especially from that time, like during that episode, one of the main characters, the little kid Enzo, he was dressed as Michael Jackson from Thriller, and they were hiding from these, the Deadites inside of the Evil Dead cabin, like with all the gags from that.
I've never heard of this.
It's fucking awesome.
What channel was it on? Do you remember?
I don't.
Was
I
it
think
Fox?
it was Fox. Yeah,
Fox.
I think it was.
It
Fox.
seems like Fox. It would be a Fox show.
And then I think Cartoon Network picked it up for a while.
Huh?
At least to rerun it.
How the fuck have I never heard of this?
Yeah. Reboot.
I spent a lot of time in front of that TV as a child.
And it was the only thing of its kind, doing at this point, in history, crappy CG, right? But in the 90s, you'd never seen anything like it.
Well, yeah, it's like when Terminator 2 came out, everybody's like, oh my God, they can do this.
Oh, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to look this up, dude.
great.
I'm actually excited about looking this up. I might look it up when I get home.
Goof Troop.
I watched a shitload of that.
Yep. Goof Troop. Alvin and Chipmunks.
Which is, I definitely had a bunch of Alvin and Chipmunk stuff. I definitely watched a shit ton of Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Goof Troop was an amazing show, which also spawned one of my favorite movies of all time.
The Goofy movie?
The Goofy movie.
I started watching that the other day.
I have Powerline in my goddamn playlist. Like, I listen to it daily.
Oh, sick.
I fucking love that.
Did you ever see the documentary they just put out?
No, I'm so stoked on that, though, because
I started watching it. Actually, it's pretty good.
We just hit an anniversary for that film. I think it's 30 years.
Yep, that's why they put out the documentary.
Yeah, and so I'm so stoked. I've seen some interviews from some of the actors. They've been doing some cool behind the scenes of how they animated the dance sequences and stuff.
And those are always the best because I love watching the animated shit.
I love that stuff, and just so masterful. And the guy that sang for Powerline, Tevin Campbell, I believe his name is, he apparently nailed that song first take.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn.
One try.
I did learn, though, I only watched like 30, 40 minutes of it, but because it's like a 2 or 3 hour documentary. One of the heads at Disney pretty much demanded to have that movie made because he was working too much and missing life with his daughter. So he took a road trip with his kid.
Oh, wow.
And that's how they got the go ahead. He's like, yeah, we're making this movie. So it's basically an homage. It's like it's for his kid.
Yeah. Do you think that the same beats happened in his real life, where like they were at ends during the road trip? And
I mean, I think she was a little kid. So
yeah,
little kids get kind of hyper in a car driving so long. So he probably got mad at some point.
Yeah,
he's not Goofy, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they didn't go crash a badass concert.
So I'm trying to think of what else. I mean, I did watch a lot of Alvin and the Chipmunks because that was like. I'm sad that that's not on anymore, and I'm sad that there's no bootlegs of that because they can't. I'm sure there's bootlegs, but you can't buy box sets of that,
right?
Because of the rights for the songs they sing.
Yeah, they're not going to remake. They're not going to put those out for you.
Same way the reason Muppet Babies isn't on anymore. It's the same fucking reason.
I probably have, or maybe my mom does, a bunch of VHS tapes that my grandpa had.
Sick.
Of Alvin and the Chipmunks. He would record cartoons for us all the time.
That's awesome.
He had one of those big. And so when I lived with him, my Saturday mornings were just watching stuff that he would record for us.
Yeah.
It was on so early in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm talking like 2 a.m.
Oh, damn.
And he had one of the big, giant fucking NASA satellites.
Oh, man, I remember those.
Yeah.
I remember those.
And he'd have to program it to different galaxies. Like, I don't know where he's getting the TV from, and you'd hear it outside going, moving.
Really?
Yeah.
I wasn't cool. I mean, I think I had a neighbor that had one of those because we were definitely not.
Well, they lived out in the country.
Yeah, so you'd have to have it.
Yeah, there was nothing out there.
Because I remember when my parents got satellite one time, it was just like a Dish Network satellite, but that was like the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. I'm like, holy shit, we have a satellite. Guess what? We have a satellite. And they're like, so what? The kid up the street's like, big fucking deal. Like, we've had a satellite for like the last 10 years.
Yeah, apparently. I never understood it, really. I just knew we would go out and sit inside of it, which probably got cancer or something,
Oh, like underneath it?
No, in it.
In it?
Yeah, it was big enough to sit in.
Oh, I remember how big they were. That's just fucking funny that you're out there.
Yeah. Just
climbing it,
sunbathing in the satellite.
What'd you do last Saturday? We hung out in the satellite dish. No, if I walked, my friend had one of those in his front yard, and his dad was like, if you guys ever walk near that thing or even touch it, I'm kicking your ass.
No, this thing was sturdy as hell. Yeah, it was huge.
Jesus Christ.
It was cool.
Dude.
But he would record these cartoons, all the classics at that point, which were I got videotapes of Thundercats, Silverhawks, the He-Man, of course, Transformers. He would tape all these things, Alvin and the Chipmunks, because he loved those.
Yeah. Oh, dude, they were some of the best ones, dude. Yeah. I even liked the first movie.
A bunch of Garfields. My grandma was a huge Garfield fan, which was funny. You talking about that really quickly. My grandpa was a Heathcliff fan.
Oh, dude, I will take Heathcliff over the top of Garfield any day of the week, dude.
That's
any day of the week.
That's such an interesting thing. Like, he loved Heathcliff, grandma loved Garfield. Two very much the same thing, but so different.
Yeah, Heathcliff was more of an asshole.
Yeah.
And he had the Cadillac cats. The junkyard
cats.
Yeah, the Cadillac cat. I do believe that's what it was called, Heathcliff and the Cadillac cats.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That would explain why he liked it then. He's very 50s,
Yeah. They just hung out in a junkyard all day and caused a bunch of shit with the dog. Yeah. And they were just more of an asshole. He was more of an asshole than Garfield ever will be in his entire fucking life, dude. Garfield's just lazy. Heathcliff is out there actually starting shit. That's probably why I liked it so much. And that's kind of like, I don't want to say it was anime, but it kind of had that Japanese feel to it, like they did with some of the cartoons. Not Garfield.
I don't remember the cartoon.
Heathcliff.
I just remember the artwork.
But
he had a T-shirt that he would always wear. It was like skin tight all the time. My grandpa was a very barrel-chested man.
Yeah.
And I acquired that T-shirt, this famous T-shirt that he would wear all the time. And I was like, I'm going to wear this shirt. I want to put this on. And I tried to put that on. Now, I'm not a small dude.
Yeah.
That thing, I could not get in that fucking shirt. I don't know how my grandpa got in that shirt.
What was on it?
It was Heathcliff.
It had like the logo or something?
It was just him sitting there like...
Dude, that's amazing.
Yeah.
They don't make... they make shit like that
I
now,
still
but
have it,
it's
but-
not the same, though. It was probably an iron-on, too, I bet. Is it all cracked?
No, it's not cracked. It's like part of the shirt, one of those good screen prints. This thing, though, like, I don't know how he got in it, man. But
I love that. I fucking love that. I was always a Heathcliff fan. They never stopped. Excuse me. Hiccups. But they never played enough of that. They just stopped playing it one. I mean, obviously the season ended or whatever, and they canceled it. But
I don't remember watching that one.
I was probably a little younger when Heathcliff was out. But
did you watch? I think I know the answer to this. Power Rangers.
I did not.
Yeah,
I did not. However, I started watching it a couple weeks ago.
You started watching Power?
Yep.
Are you doing from season 1 or?
It was season 1, and it was on one of the Prime channels. I'm like, I'm gonna watch this real quick. I'm not gonna lie, I fucking loved it.
It's fun, man.
I fucking loved it. It's like watching old Godzilla kung fu movies, dude. Yeah. That's what I got out of it.
Yeah, well, and I think you can appreciate it as that now that we're older, right?
Yeah, and it also reminded me of Kamen Rider,
right?
Which I also Kamen.
Cool.
Yeah, Kamen.
Kamen Rider.
Yeah,
he's the bug guy.
I went down a rabbit hole on that, and it's like
those were weird.
There are so many of those.
Yeah,
they're still making them.
Yeah, well, they're still making Power Rangers.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, because every time I turn on TV, I'm like, maybe I'll watch Power Rangers real quick. This isn't the first season I want to watch it yet. I learned a lot of stuff about it, but I'm like, yeah, it just reminds me of watching like a Godzilla type movie.
Yeah,
with ninjas.
It's a lot of fun. I was a huge fan. For me, it was like they had created Voltron in real time, like in real life.
Yeah,
and that's the vibe that I got out of it.
That's exactly what it is.
And then as I got older, I don't know why I never lost interest in it, but I started to follow the actors a little more.
Yeah,
and
it's like me and Pee Wee.
Right. Well,
you just don't stop following them. You just keep going and watching them do their thing.
Right. Well, and to watch like these actors, like the Power Rangers actors, like have gone on to do all kinds of cool stuff. JDF, R.I.P. buddy, was one of my favorite actors of all time. Like that guy just did so much good.
Yeah.
In the world. And so to see him go from Power Rangers, and he just rode that wave. He never once really cared about doing anything. It didn't seem like...
Oh, he just rode out the Power Ranger wave?
He was con after con after con, and just a crowd drawer. Like, that guy could pull a crowd like crazy. And always so positive. I have a really fun story. I was supposed to meet him years back now. It was my wife was pregnant, and he was going to be at a con that a buddy of mine was hosting, and he was going to introduce me to one of my real life heroes. I didn't get to go because my wife went into labor.
No.
Now we're sitting in the hospital, and she says, "Oh, well, you can go see him. Like I know how much this means to you." And I'm like,
"That's a trick. It's a trap."
Yeah, it's a trap. So I didn't go. But my friend had gotten a hold of JDF after the convention had ended that day, and told him how much of a fan I was, and that I was really looking forward to seeing him. So he texts me, he sends me a text. He says, "Hey, you got to see this." And I'm sitting there and see what? There's nothing on, nothing on my phone. And then a video pops up. And
yes.
I click on the video, and it's a video from JDF. Like, congratulating me on my son. Like, telling me how sad he was that I didn't get to see him. Like just this like super personal video. Like addressed to me of all people.
Yeah.
one of the only times I cried in the hospital was at that fucking video. It was so cool. But needless to say, huge Power Rangers fan.
That was a hell of a day. You got a baby and you got
dude, it was
a video
awesome.
from a Power Ranger.
So awesome.
And
he's just the nicest dude. I've got so much stuff signed from him, you know, because my buddy would hit him up every time they'd see him, and he'd get me stuff signed by him. You know, he's just the nicest dude. But then there's other actors too. Johnny Young Bosch, one of my favorite. Well, he's one of the best voice actors in the anime market. But he was the second Black Power Ranger. And my favorite version of the Black Power Ranger was Johnny Young, and he went on to do a bunch of voice work. But anyways, I can gush about Power Rangers all day long. I fucking love that show. I'm sad you didn't watch it as a kid.
It's all right. I'll probably continue watching it.
Yeah, well, it's cool that you're getting.
It looks great.
Now, yeah.
I'm like, well, because now I'm going back and I'm like, man, why didn't I watch this? Damn, this is fucking cool, dude. Like, what the hell? I was a little older, so I was probably getting out of shit. Like, I was more into music. I was more into skateboarding and doing all this shit. But
it started in 92, I believe.
Well, I was 12, so yeah.
93, yeah.
93? Yeah, I was 13. So I was probably really into music at the time. I know for a fact I was really into music and skateboarding. So in 93, it was music, skateboards, whatever hot woman that's on whatever magazine in the store that I could get my hands on. Like, I'd be like, hey, Mom, can you buy this for me? She's like, it's Sports Illustrated. What do you want with that? I'm like, come on. It's the swimsuit edition. Just give it to me. Okay, fine. She'd cave.
Yeah.
And buy me a magazine.
See, I had hot wrestler ladies, the divas back in.
Oh, yes, dude. Okay, we can get to that here in a second.
Yeah, right.
Because when I was little, so I'd watch all these cartoons in the morning, and then depending on what year it was, I'm pretty sure I was like 10 or 11. They'd always have, I don't know how it worked at your house, but I didn't have MTV. I didn't have cable. I didn't have any of that shit. So it was just like 3 channels. But on NBC on Saturdays at 11 o'clock, they would have some like hour-long, and I don't remember the name of it. It was like an hour-long music video. So it's kind of like a little mini hour of MTV kind of, where they played music.
Huh.
Yeah. So like every weekend I'm like sitting there with my hand on the fucking VCR waiting. I'm like, are you going to play Thriller? Are you going to play Thriller? Because that's the greatest video ever.
Right.
Are you going to play Thriller? And one time they did. And I was so stoked that it was playing that I never fucking pushed record.
Huh.
So I never got to watch it again until like later when I had cable at some point.
Well, and they would play the whole video.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like an 8-minute fucking long video.
Yeah, it's a mini movie.
But every time they turn it on, I'm like, oh my God, look at the zombies. This is fucking fan. I didn't even give a shit about Michael Jackson. I just give a shit that it was like John Landis made that thing. It was amazing. It was like a little mini zombie movie.
Yeah.
They're dancing. Whatever, dude. The graphics on that thing were brilliant.
You didn't care about the song?
I didn't give 2 shits about the song.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought the song was...
No, the song's good. I've heard it a million times. But...
Well, just even as a kid, like...
at that point in time, I'm just like,
you
zombies.
were more into
the monsters. So I'm like, zombies. It's just so good.
So you only had the 3 channels.
Yeah, we didn't have much. Well, an LPB, which always sucked. But yeah, they're all. Yeah, we only had 3 channels. So, you know, I got to watch... you had to get up and like twist that knob to change that channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was no like, hey, go change that. We'd always complain about who's getting up to change the channel and be pissed off about it. Like, you only have to click it 3 clicks.
You pick one.
Yeah. You have channel, what was it, like channel 3, 6, and like 10. That's all. Yeah. Well, and 7 because of OPB, but.
Did you bounce between channels, like between commercial breaks? Or
yeah, when you brought that up earlier, yes,
right?
we 100% did. Because you might catch something from another show that you were missing before.
Right. Well, because sometimes there were cartoons on other channels you wanted to watch.
Yeah, usually. I mean, I think all 3 of those channels had cartoons going on in the morning because it was Saturday morning.
It was like ABC, Fox, and whatever the... I think OPB was...
I did not have Fox.
I thought the Fox was like public access, wasn't it?
Yeah, but my parents live out in the middle of nowhere. Like, middle of nowhere, and you can't get any channels out there. At one point, you couldn't get channels out there ever again.
Huh.
So we only had ABC, NBC, CBS, and OPB.
Yeah. So what you needed was a giant satellite dish that you could...
Yep. We needed a giant satellite dish, and
you could
too poor to
record
have a giant Yeah.
Silverhawks from the future.
So if I was lucky, at one point I'd stay the night at someone's house and they would have like Fox, and I'd be like, "Oh shit, we have to watch this." Like, why is this stupid? I'm like, "No, we have to watch this. You can go play it outside if you want. I'll stay in here and watch TV by myself while you're outside playing. I don't care. I just want to watch fucking cartoons, man."
Yeah. Well, what would you do after cartoons were over?
After cartoons, I'd go outside and play with my toys.
You go outside with them.
Hell yeah.
Dang.
I'd either go outside. Look at you. You're like, you're not a collector.
Yeah, right. No, that hurts my soul.
I'd go outside, which is probably where some of my weapons got lost for sure. I'd either sit at the table and play with them, or play with them in the kitchen where my mom's like, "Get the hell out of here." But if I was in the kitchen, there's appliances that they can jump off of.
Sure.
And they can play inside the cupboard with the dishes. That could be something else. My mom would be like, "Stop fucking with my dishes." But sometimes I would take them outside.
Yeah.
And if I was really ballsy, I'd walk down the street to the school playground. And I'd play with them in like the sand pit.
Yeah.
Or
so you're one of the kids whose action figures I would take home because you left them there.
Oh, I would never leave them.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no. Don't get me wrong. They would never get. Not only did they not get left there, but if I got home and they were dirty, I would wash them off.
Well, at least you had a little bit of respect.
Yeah, I'm still like that. I don't like dirty stuff.
Yeah. But you take your toys outside. I would never do that because I never wanted to lose it.
Yep.
And I never wanted them gross, man. I didn't want them scuffed, nothing. Now,
if I really got lucky, my brother would let me use his turtle van. And then I went ape shit with that thing. I would take it to the school, put my turtles in it. And there at the school, there was like I'm not even joking, a 12, 15-foot metal slide.
Yeah.
And I'd take that thing to the top of that thing, just launch that thing right the fuck off that thing. And just shoot them all over the place.
We used to do that with our G.I. Joes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I found a way to tie the legs together inside the G.I. Joes where it would hold all the G.I. Joe together from that center piece, right?
Yeah.
Where you would normally put the O-ring.
Yeah. I broke so many of those.
You stick him or her into a vehicle of your choosing and you smash it into a wall, he would explode like a crash test.
Oh,
and then you could put him back together just by hooking that little hook. Instead of hooking the O-ring, you would just hook the hooks together.
Yeah.
And so I created crash test dummies with my G.I. Joes. Not my favorite thing now that I look back.
Well, yeah.
All my G.I. Joes are.
Yeah. You're like, I used to have this. You break it out. Do my dad used to
right.
get so pissed. I'm like, can you fix this? He's like, dude, how many times are you going to break this thing? You fucking twist them up so they do karate kicks and shit.
Yeah.
And then they just pop off. I'm like, damn it, I broke it. I'd either break it and give it to him to fix it, or I'd leave it and then it would get lost.
Yeah. They re-released those G.I. Joes, the O-ring ones.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wait, what are the newer ones made with? They don't do that with the new ones?
No, they're just their standard, like...
just straight body?
What are they called?
Like one mold?
No. Excuse me. They have the just the standard, like, action figure joints. Like...
Oh, okay, like ball joints, kind of?
Yeah, the ball joints.
Okay.
So they're pretty decent. They were still, standard size, but they had a special run where they re-released, I think it was Super 7 maybe, that re-released O-ring style G.I. Joes. I never got to get one. They sold out really fast.
Oh, I bet, dude. Everything sells out so fast now.
Yeah. Well, when it's that nostalgic, based stuff like that, you have to be on top. And you have to perpetually live on the internet. Otherwise, you can't pre-order this shit. You can't buy this shit. You're gonna.
I kind of live there now. Oh my God! Before we go any further, I forgot to say when we were going through our little "What did we score this week?" I scored my ultimate childhood toy of all time.
Yes,
the greatest thing ever on the face of the planet. Strap your fucking boots in, kids, because I probably already posted about it. But I got myself a fucking My Pet Monster. I never had one of those as a kid. Yeah. I always wanted one, and holy shit!
I think we all probably wanted that thing.
Yeah,
and it was really cool that you brought that here into the shop because I've never seen one in real life. So
I have a couple times, but I never got to fucking touch it or hold it.
Right, getting to see it and touch it, like that's okay. Don't clip that, but
I won't. I won't.
Yeah. But it was really cool getting to see one of those. Now, it didn't have the chain.
It did not, and I've already started looking for them. I found some on YouTube or eBay.
Why do you think it didn't? Like, were they easy to lose?
Oh, yeah. Well, they were built to, like, take off so you could also wear them.
Oh.
Yeah, so I believe they were Velcro.
Yeah, I remember them being Velcro.
And they could break apart, right?
I don't know if they could.
Yeah, they could.
Ah.
Yeah, the middle link like
I remember that.
loosened, so it could pull apart, so he could stand there with like it broken, like he broke out of his chains. I think they got lost because kids would take them off and they'd wear them. But I was so happy when I got that thing. Like I took it over next door to the piercing shop, and I walked in, and Tanny just starts laughing because he's in the middle of helping a client, and even the client sits up and looks at me, and she's like, "Oh my God, you got it!" And she's like, "You have to let me take a picture of him." I'm like, "Why?" She's like, "You have the biggest shit-eating childhood dream grin on your face right now," and I'm like, "You have no idea how stoked I am right now." Because I scored the dog last week at the convention. They had My Pet Monster pets.
Wait, so the pet monster had a pet.
Which is named Yipper. I looked it up last night.
Okay.
There was like fucking 3 or 4 of them. I didn't know that was a thing. They also came with chains. And guess what? Those chains are like $200 for those dogs.
Was it like its leash or something?
Nope, they're chained to its legs, just like his is chained to his arms.
Really?
Yeah.
How big it? Well,
those ones are small.
Okay.
Yeah. I looked it up. I have like an entire someone took a picture of pretty much like the history of these chains. So like when it came out in like 86, I think it was.
Yeah.
And then the next batch, the pets batch, and then the re-release in 2022 or something like that.
Right.
Yeah. So it had like the entire evolution of these chains, so you could find out. But either way, I found some. I'm holding back right now because I've spent a little bit too much money this week. So they weren't too bad to track down. It was like anywhere from $70 to $100 for these chains.
Oh, here's some fun news.
Oh yeah, what you got?
New York Toy Fair, 2025, announced a re-release of My Pet Monster.
God damn it. He looks a lot smaller.
I can't quite tell, but the sculpt in his nose and in his eyes look a little different.
They do look slightly different. But damn it, dude. I might have to buy one of those.
Yeah, there you go.
Set the new next to the old?
Yep.
He's sitting in my room right now with his dog. And
yours has a green nose.
Yeah, it's kind of green.
Yeah, this guy's got a blue one.
Oh, man. Look how great that thing is.
Yeah, it looks awesome. But this is a good sign. I mean, honestly, because we'll probably get more fun, like smaller merch. Yeah. Things along the lines. I just love, look at that little guy.
Did you ever watch that cartoon?
I never got to see the cartoon, no.
Super fucking great,
I love
dude.
the way he's drawn, though.
Super. I think you would enjoy that. Those are all, if you go on YouTube, every episode's on there. They'll even, put them to, ooh, hey, what's that box? Oh, is that just a box or something?
Yeah, that's just the display. Yeah.
Oh. It looked like maybe it was an awesome box. I had a chance to buy one.
Look, he's got, they got, smaller merch and stuff.
Oh, my God. Jimmy.
So these are probably blind box guys or something. Look at that.
Dude, see, this is my problem.
It was...
I was kind of collecting shit. I had a level of collecting shit, and then we started working together again. Now it's out of control all over again.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. All my bills are paid. That's all that really matters.
That's all that matters.
So I can do whatever the fuck I want. Yeah. I am totally going to try to collect those now. I got to try to find them.
Absolutely. They don't have a release date or anything on it and stuff.
Yeah, I love My Pet Monster.
Very cool.
The cartoon, I think the cartoon was on Saturdays at one point, I think, and I believe it was on NBC.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It was a good one. So if you get a chance this weekend on your days off, go to YouTube.
Do you remember what it was about?
A kid who had a pet monster in his house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, I mean, like he just randomly show up and they're like, oh, the monster's here. He had a name, but I can't remember exactly what it was. It was super good, though. Yeah. It's just what you would expect. Like, hey, there's a bigger monster trying to get our little monster. We're trying to keep him out of trouble. And there's just chaos in a cartoon. Right. But the animation's great. Just like you said, you're like, hey, I love the way. That's why I like it, too, because the animation's just like, how do you even explain that animation? You can't say too cartoony because it's a fucking cartoon.
No, it's very loosely drawn. Like the way that everything's exaggerated. Sort of, it reminds me of the Tiny Toons era artwork.
Yes,
everything's big and bubbly and bright, and that's how they drew this guy. And he looks awesome. If you remember the Beetlejuice cartoon, the Beetlejuice cartoon. Drawn very, very similar.
Yeah. Beetlejuice was on Fox on Saturdays sometimes, I do believe, if I recall right.
I don't know. I don't remember.
I watched a shitload of that, too. Yeah, sorry, that was my phone.
Yeah.
Making noise.
Well, that was super cool. Did you ever watch? This might be a little old school, and I remember they had this show on my Saturdays. Anyways, it was Scooby Doo. I know Scooby Doo has come in many different flavors.
Oh, just like Ninja Turtles. Like
Right.
they're just like a new generation for every generation.
The one that I loved the most, if I had to pick a Scooby Doo, was Scooby Doo and the 13 Ghosts.
Oh, you know what? I probably watched it at least once. Don't crazy remember it.
I loved that show so much. Because Vincent Price hosted it, right? Like he was.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that.
He was a character in it. He put them on the track of collecting these 13 real ghosts
yeah.
to put back in this like hell box.
Just like real life.
It was just I mean we just like real. But it was so cool, like that they took Scooby Doo, who was always just rubber masks, and like I was Farmer John, whatever the hell.
I loved that was like 60s, right? Late
Yeah.
60s, early 70s, and every one of them was the same. You think those fucking kids would learn their shit?
Right. Well,
Like, why are you so scared and running around? Come on, pull your head out of your ass. Shaggy's problem is he's stoned all the time.
Yeah.
Clearly. But Fred, come on. By now, you should know that every ghost you deal with is just wearing a mask, dude. It's just some asshole that you pissed off 10 minutes ago.
Right. Well, and that's why Fred would always build his, practical traps to trap a real person in. And
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I didn't know. By no means am I complaining about Scooby-Doo.
Oh, no, I'm just saying, like, I think Fred was onto it the whole time.
But when
he
I
always played as the dumb blonde, but...
you think he was in on it?
I think I think he just...
He was getting
like,
paid by old man fucking Crackers or whatever his name is at the amusement park to bring these kids in here. God, Fred's a dick.
Yeah.
It's
all one giant, like, conglomerate of villains. And Fred's an inside guy. He's trying to off the fucking Scooby gang.
Oh, my God. Why would you do that? Velma was so hot. Actually, you know what? I take that back. She was the real dork. Now, for some reason, have you noticed that? If you get any of that on your Instagram feed, Velma has turned into like this hot, sexy
she's
nerd.
got a library thing going.
Yes.
Librarian.
She's like a sex symbol now.
Yeah. Well, she's unassuming.
I'm not going to lie. I'm digging it. But every time that shit pops up, I'm like, I have to send it to somebody. I'm like, hey, look at this.
Right.
She does have a library thing going on.
Yeah. Well, they really cemented it with the movies, like the...
Yes, they did.
Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yes, they did.
And Sarah Michelle Gellar, sorry. They really used that element of Velma in those films, and it was never the same after.
Fair. So after cartoons on Saturdays, what'd you do? What'd you do? Because I was out playing and apparently getting my toys dirty, which you were completely, utterly against.
I would still go play with my toys. I shared a room with my brother.
Yeah.
And we shared a lot of similar tastes in action figures and stuff. And so one of our favorite things to do was we would go pull all of our toys out of our toy box. And a lot of them were He-Mans or Ninja Turtles or the like, right?
Yeah.
Just action figure dudes. Mm-hmm. And he would take half of the room, I would take half of the room, and we would set them on our dresser, set them on the floor, set them on the floor, all these things. So you'd build an army of action figures. And then we would just sit behind them and shoot rubber bands at them.
That's great.
Yeah, to try and knock, see who would knock everybody's toys down. Yeah. The first. And so that was one of my favorite activities, man, was like just playing with my toys.
Yep.
Like, it was fun.
I didn't play action figures. I mean, there might have been a couple times because my little brother, one below me, liked sports. So he'd go outside. He'd play football, baseball, a lot of basketball.
Yeah.
Brother number 3 would be out like helping my dad fix a car, mow the yard, whatever. If I wasn't outside mowing the yard on a fucking Saturday, that always sucked ass, dude. Nothing was worse than being in the middle of cartoons and my dad being like, go mow the yard. I'm like, ugh. Come on, dude.
Well,
Ghostbusters is on. Like, you're killing me right now.
See, like at the end of cartoons, that's when chores started. If you didn't bail fast, mom was going to get you with chores.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you go to your room and you pretend you're doing something.
And then I would go do them as fast as possible.
Yeah.
But my parents live on like an acre. So, like,
oh, gosh.
And my dad didn't have a riding lawnmower until much later in life. So I had to mow that shit by hand.
Yeah. Did you have a gas
push mower? Yeah, there was a gas mower. Yeah.
Because I used the push mower too.
Yeah.
Like you have to make it.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes you have to lift shit up to fucking. And then I'd run over my brother's action figures with the lawnmower because he wouldn't pick his shit up. So I'd be like, you know what? Teach you. Right over top of that thing with that lawnmower. And he's got caught up. I'm like, I didn't see it in the grass, dude. I'm sorry. I don't know.
Stop bringing your toys outside.
Yeah.
Wait.
If you would just give it to me like I asked. So yeah, I'd have to spend a bunch of that, but by about 2 o'clock, I'd be done.
Yeah. And that was the same with us. We would do chores, and those chores would unlock the next level of our Saturday, which was going outside to play.
Yep.
Once we did that, we were allowed to go see if my buddy was home and pull him outside so we can go play tag in the park or some shit.
Yep, we did the same thing.
Yeah.
My buddy lived right around the corner in a very small town, but I'd do the same thing. Get up, straight to his house as soon as I got done with my shit, because they'd be like, "You're not going down there until this is done."
Yeah.
And sometimes if my mom and dad were really being dicks, I don't know why. Maybe they just like that little slave labor children. I'd mow the yard, and they'd be like, "You know what? Go rake it." I'm like, and then spend 2 hours raking the yard.
Did you get any little extra privilege or anything, or just
No. It's just like go do that now or else. Not or else, but it's just like, you want to be grounded? That was always the threat. You want to be grounded? And I'm like, not really. If I get grounded, then I can't go play down the street.
See, we would get, if we got extra chores, Mom would always get us something a little extra. Like we get to go to Kmart with her.
Yeah, that was one of my questions on here. Did you get to go to the store with Mom on Saturdays for stuff?
Yeah, that was the best part. You get to go, and you were as good as you could be.
Yep.
Because you'd get to the toy aisle, and she's trying to ignore it.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to stand there for an hour while you try to choose a toy.
But she'd give in as long as you were good.
Yep.
And you could maybe talk her into something, just one thing. And Kmart always had the coolest toys. Kmart and KB's.
Kmart is one of I hate to say it, one of my all-time childhood favorite toy stores, or just stores in general.
Yeah.
I just remember always going there. You can still smell the stale popcorn.
Yes.
And if we were really lucky, because my dad loved popcorn, he would buy, they had these giant, massive bags of popcorn there. They were literally like this wide and like this. They were like huge bags.
I remember those,
Not necessarily a trash bag, but he would buy that bag. And if we were lucky, we'd get an icy.
Yeah.
Greatest thing ever. I still think that's one of the greatest logos of my childhood.
With the polar bear.
A fucking polar bear.
Yeah. In the striped shirt.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%. I've actually thought about making a business card for that with that on there. It's just I don't know why. It's just one of the most iconic. And I also remember every time we went there, my mom would be off doing her shit. So we'd walk around with my dad. And the first thing he would do, because when I was little, VHS, relatively new. And I think we may have just gotten a VCR at some point. So we go look at movies. And I still remember to this day trying to talk him into buying the Monster Squad for me. And he's just like, "No, not today. We're going to do this." And he'd buy like Beverly Hills Cop instead. I'm like,
yeah,
the Monster Squad, dude. Come on. I love Beverly Hills Cop, but I want to watch the fucking Monster Squad. I just remember all those VHS tapes just being lined up. They'd be laying like at an angle, rows and rows and rows.
Well, and see, that would be, so you do that during the day.
Yep.
Go get a toy, maybe get something cool. But did you have a video rental store?
Oh.
Because that was Saturday night, right?
Yes, sir.
You go down to the video.
Oh, let's do the fucking video rental store thing right now. I'm down.
Need a fix of old-fashioned film and fun in your living room? Come on down to Mom and Pop's Video Shop. We've got thousands of titles all ready to be rented and watched in the comfort of your home. Action, drama, comedy, the horror. From the newest hits to absolute classics and every obscurity in between, we've got it. And with free popcorn included with every video rental, you'll be going home happy. It's our guarantee. Mom and Pop's Video Shop is your hometown video rental heaven. Located off exit 88 on the Parkway next to the deli and the cemetery. Stop by Mom and Pop's today. We can't wait to VHC you
one of my
here.
ultimate childhood places.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'll never forget going in there, seeing all those VHS, because it was VHS at the time.
Yeah, every bit of it.
All those rad covers. And, of course, I was a horror kid, so
Yep.
I was in the horror section.
I wasn't allowed to watch that shit yet, but I was constantly in that section being
Yeah.
like, what's on this tape?
All these wild covers for all these cool horror films. And then you'd have your big giant
the cardboard standees, dude.
Yeah, the displays for like whatever new Disney movie was out or whatever. Which
Yep.
They were good back then. So, you still got good stuff.
I remember some great ones in that place, dude. I remember the Child's Play 2
Yeah.
standee, and I was somewhat scared of it. at first because I'm like, I'm still kind of little, but like,
Was that the Jack in the Box one?
Yep.
Yeah.
And it was actually 2 layered.
Oh,
So the Jack in the Box moved.
no way.
So okay, so I guess it was 3 layers because you have the back,
Yeah.
and then Chucky stuck out of the top of that with the scissors in his hand, and then there was Jack in the Box in the front of him. And if I remember right, it was on some kind of spring.
Yeah.
So it did move back and forth. I'm just like, I don't know what the hell's going on in this movie, but I need to see it now. Like, this thing is mind-blowingly amazing.
Yeah.
Oh man, the standees, dude. I wish I could track those down, dude. Those things are so expensive now.
Was your rental store a mom and pop?
Yes, all the stores there were mom and pop. So the first one was called Crescent Video. It was inside the pizza parlor.
Uh-huh.
It was called T&M Pizza. So you walk in the front door, and off to your right as soon as you walk in, it's probably about the size of this room, probably about the size of this entire shop. So good 1,000 square feet, maybe even more, of just movies. And then behind the movie store, you can see actually in the window is the pizza place. So we go in there, and they had
Dude, that's killer to have the two together.
just combined.
Yeah.
That's genius.
Your pizza to go.
Yep.
And a movie.
That's just
Yeah.
pure fucking genius. So I remember going in there, and the best part about it is I don't know how far you can remember back, but the adult section. The adult section, for some reason, was probably the size of this booth, right?
Yeah.
So it'd be like 10 by 10, maybe even smaller than that, but at least 10 feet long.
Yeah.
With the swinging barn doors,
Yeah,
dude.
it had the
swinging barn doors. And I remember, and for some reason, there was still like you could tell if people were in there because the bottom of it stopped about the height of someone's kneecaps.
Yeah.
So you could still see if someone was in there. So you're a kid, you're just like, get on your hands and knees and start looking at my mom would be like, stop looking in there, quit it, knock it off. And I'm like, why can't I go in here? What's going on in there?
The one we had was the barn doors, right? But they were, for us as a kid, were head level, right? And
Yeah.
And then there was the the countertop, kind of like what we have in the shop here.
Yeah.
Head level as well.
Uh-huh.
And then there was a curtain
Yes.
from the ceiling to the countertop. Like apparently that was their solution. So I just, what's going on in here?
Yeah.
Peek under the curtain. And so you catch the people off guard that are inside. I'm not doing anything.
Yeah, they'd always be like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What? Nothing.
No.
I'm not looking in here. And then my mom's like, get the fuck out of there.
Are there any cartoons in there?
Yeah, my mom's like, why are you doing this to me? Right? It was a weird setup, too, because you walk inside and, like, the first 3 aisles that were in front of you when you walked in were action and drama.
Mm-hmm.
And you walk past that, and the counter's sitting right out there in the middle, and then there'd be the adult section, the horror section sitting directly next to the counter. And then all the kid stuff is all the way in the back. So you have to walk through all this chaos just to get to the children's section. That was just full of. I can remember all that shit, dude. Because there was 4 of them. There was 4 video stores.
Did they only have the videotapes, or were you able to go and rent video games, or did you?
Okay, so I was too little when we started renting stuff there. We didn't have video games. I didn't have a Nintendo till I was 9 or 10.
Right.
And we didn't rent video games there yet.
No.
So, right about the time we got that video game closed, or that video store closed.
Yeah.
And they moved up the street to a bigger spot. And that's about the time we started renting video games. And they had nothing huge because they kept them all behind the counter because it was all new. Like video game consoles were new, right? Like new-ish, like especially for Nintendo.
Yeah.
So they kept them
very expensive.
Yeah, they kept them as close to the counter as possible. But I wasn't interested in that. I was interested in what's going on in the horror boxes.
Right.
And what's going on behind the neon sign that says adults only.
I was video games all the way because we had some mom and pop stores and they really embraced. One of them really embraced the video games.
Yeah.
It was Nintendo, Super Nintendo when that came out, like just getting all the new stuff all the time. But we had a Blockbuster, which also had everything. You know, it was corporate fucking.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah, we didn't have Blockbusters.
Yeah.
Straight mom and pops.
Yeah, and Blockbuster had all kinds of shit. I mean, toys. You know, all kinds of movie memorabilia. You know, I remember shopping Blockbuster when it closed down, and snagging some cool shit. When that mom and pop store closed down, I remember they were selling all of their SNES games for $20. Not all of them for $20, but $20 a piece.
For what?
The Super Nintendo games.
Oh,
yeah.
Damn, dude, that's cheap.
Right. And I went down there. I had 2 games in mind, and I begged my mom to let me go down and buy something. I was like, we got to get something before this closes down. These are cheaper than they've ever been, and they were like $60 back then.
And they haven't really changed.
No, they
have. They've gone up to 80.
So my mom, of course, we were super poor as well.
Yep.
And my mom, bless her heart, like took all the change she had.
Oh.
She rolled it up in the
Yep.
And I took $20 worth of quarters down there, and I bought a game. It was Metal Warriors. Very awesome, very super stupid rare game right now.
Of course it is.
It was that or Mega Man Soccer, which I probably should have bought that. But I'll never forget that. Like trucking down, I walked down to probably a good 1.5 miles to the video store with $20 in quarters and bought a fucking Super Nintendo game. But that was like kind of as the things were starting to die out, like the video stores were starting to die out.
Yep. Yep.
And it sucks,
Yeah, by the time videos didn't start dying out. When was that? About 2005, because I just had this conversation because I just got licensed to tattoo. And
well, I mean, like
Blockbuster
stuff was.
Well, yeah, they were all going out.
Yeah,
but
Blockbuster held on.
About 2005, Blockbuster was starting to shut down.
Yeah,
Hollywood definitely shut down because during that time I got my license, and my mentor Travis, we're both huge into horror movies or any movies in general.
Right.
Because if nothing was going on in the shop, we'd sit in one of our rooms, watch fucking movies, and draw. And then I just remember one day, Hollywood and Blockbuster were like, "Hey, we're closing doors," because they kind of didn't do it at the same time, but very short distance between each other. We're selling all our shit. And me and Travis went down to like every Blockbuster and every Hollywood in town, and I probably bought over 100 VHS tapes. Trav probably bought over 100 VHS tapes for 50 cents a piece.
Wow.
We wiped out those horror sections, dude.
Yeah.
Just wiped them out. But before we get too far off topic with this, there's other videos. So in this town that I grew up near, there was another VHS store that we'd go into, and that's where my dad would rent like a Nintendo before we had a Nintendo, so he could watch us play it, right? And
I forgot you could rent consoles.
You could rent consoles. And as he'd also rent VCRs there before we had a VCR.
Yeah.
They'd even come in that giant black case, the carrying case. I could still feel that stupid foam in that thing, dude.
Yeah.
But the other video store was someplace on its own planet, dude. Because my mom's like, don't ever. I know she would. No one hell would she ever let me go run around town by myself. And she's like, you never go in this place by yourself. Blah blah blah. I'm like, what the? Why? That's the store that had all the video games in it and the movies. But it was also a hangout place for kids. And in this fucking video store, there was 3 or 4 pool tables lined up. And back then, you could smoke inside there. So when I was a kid, I would go in with my dad to go rent a movie or go rent video games. And there would just be like teenagers in there shooting pool, smoking cigarettes. The whole place is just covered in like a fucking sea of smoke.
Wow.
Yeah, you could literally barely see it.
So that's why you weren't allowed in there.
100%. And
be a
it was actually one of those places where like, I'm kind of scared to go in here. I wonder why. I'm like, oh, this is why. Everybody here is smoking.
Oh, it's probably just a bunch of people from Greece, and they're breaking out in song and dance.
Yeah, exactly. Just a bunch of Greece kids. They're having some milkshakes after school, smoking cigarettes with their pompadours.
It's electrifying.
So then there's a third video store, Chris, and this one's the best one out of all of them. So not in this town. My parents lived out town. They lived out about 8 miles outside of town. 4 miles out the opposite way of my parents' house in Brownsville, Oregon, where they filmed Stand By Me.
Right.
Little knowledge there. I grew up in that shithole.
Real dead body and everything.
Oh, yeah. Hundreds of them, dude. Just meth central. I went to school with a girl. I didn't find this out till later, but her dad owned the video store in town. But this guy isn't like the other mom and pop shops where they're doing it to make money. He's also doing it to make money, but he is like us. Giant fucking movie nerd.
Okay.
You walk into this place and it's like too much stimulation. You walk inside, there's 2 glass cases that he stands behind with a popcorn machine on it. And those glass cases are filled to the brim with collector cards. Any collector card you could possibly ever imagine. Frazetta cards, RoboCop, it doesn't fucking matter, dude. Playmate of the Year cards, the whole back of it, like even behind him, completely to the ceiling. And underneath that like ledge of the ceiling, there's just like multiple rows of like he created these like pull-out shelves that had the movies on them.
Wow.
And then you walk into the movie store, and it's like 3 level. Like you walk down into it. And on this side, there's like the weird, rare VHS tapes that you're never going to see anywhere else. Like that's where I found Faces of Death hiding, creeping in the fucking corner.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like the World place, like the World videos. Like they had Mondo Kane in there and shit like that.
If you heard whispers of a movie.
Yes, if there was some kind of weird movie, like,
Yeah.
have you ever seen Faces of Death? Oh my God. I'm like, yeah, right. And I'm like, oh
This
my
guy
God, I
has it.
fucking found it. And he had the big box cases, like the big ones. And I'm like, oh, man, I wish I could collect these, but I can't. That sucks. I'm too young to rent these. But that motherfucker would let me rent them anyway. At like 14 years old. I'm like, hey, man, I rent this. He's like, your mom okay with this? I'm like, oh, yeah, I've seen it. He's like, you know what this is, right? I'm like, yep, totally fucking lying to him. I'm like, yeah, I know what it is, dude. He's like, okay. So anyway, he's got that section right there. And in the middle is like the romance drama shit. And it goes up and there's like a pillar in the middle. And in the middle of that pillar hangs a gremlin. Like, that's how cool this fucking shop was. And it's dark. It's not like bright like we're in the shop. It's like dim light. So there's like a gremlin hanging from this rafter. And in the corner is like the family Disney section. But in this other corner, the darkest corner of the entire place, there's a sci-fi shelf. So all your sci-fi movies in there. Aliens, whatever, Enemy Mine, all this crazy shit.
Yeah.
But if you walk a little bit around that corner to the darker other side, it's all horror movies from the ceiling to the floor, dude. It was probably
on purpose, like
100%. And there's just like more gremlins and there's more shit hanging from the wall. And outside of the sci-fi place, there's the Star Trek Enterprise fucking hanging from the ceiling and all that. And like he had so much crazy shit in that place. It's so fucking nostalgic. And when that guy shut that place down, I was so pissed that I didn't get in there and buy movies because I could have scored so much good shit.
Well, not just that, all the memorabilia. Like,
Just
where
so
was he
much.
getting that stuff?
He was just a collector, dude.
Oh, okay.
So I was married at one point, and my ex-wife was friends with his daughter, and she would stay at her house during high school. And she's like, yeah, you don't understand. Like, her parents had like slept in different rooms. He had like apparently the biggest room in the house, and he just had this giant bed in his room, just with stacks of VHS tapes all the way around his bed, and just with a giant TV in front of him. That's what he'd do. He'd just sit in there, smoke weed, watch movies.
Dang.
It was like the ultimate. I'm sorry about that long ass rant.
No,
that was like the ultimate video store ever on the face of the earth. I think he passed away because he had some kind of cancer or something. But come the end of everybody not buying movies and shit, like he sold it, and now that place is a fucking weed store.
Of course, it is now. That's wild. Like it's a bygone era, right? Like, and I would love to see. I think we are seeing some of that come back.
Some of a
video
resurgent
rental stores and that sort of thing. You're seeing a resurgence in VHS. Like
it's huge right now.
Yeah,
like that. I sold like 50 tapes last weekend.
Yeah. Well, and as you're collecting them as well.
Yeah.
And Ian is.
That kind of makes me proud a little bit.
Right. The only thing he's watching these films. We suggest these films to him.
Yep.
And he's watching them on VHS for the first time, by the way, which I talked to him about. Like he had seen From Dusk Till Dawn for the first time.
On VHS.
On VHS.
Just like we watched it.
Right. And I am just enamored with like watching him describe his experience to me, because I remember the first time you saw any of these. T2 he watched. From Dusk Till Dawn, he watched Predator for the first time.
Oh, he was so pumped.
First time you saw Predator?
Oh yeah, I was 8 years old.
Just this guy here, well into his adulthood, he's
29.
I don't know how old he is.
No, he is 20.
21 years
He's
old.
29.
I tell him that he looks like he's 20.
He does look young.
But he's watching Terminator 2 for the very first time and just glowing about it, dude.
Yep.
Like, it's awesome.
You know how many times I've told him to watch all these movies throughout the years? I'm like,
sure.
to watch. He's like, I'll get around to it. I don't really watch movies. But for some reason, the VHS thing is clicked on. I have wasted, okay, I can't say wasted. It's not a waste. But in the last week, I've probably bought him at least five VHS tapes that I found.
No, it's so much fun because he's gonna watch it, and to see his reaction it's worth it, dude.
I gave him Total Recall yesterday.
Giving a kid candy.
He's gonna get to witness 3 tits, 3-titty alien.
Yeah,
he's gonna be stoked about it.
He's never seen that.
No, dude. When he came in here, he's like, "Dude, Predator." I'm like, "Don't talk to me about Predator. I've seen Predator 200 million times.
Yeah,
it is one of the greatest feature films of our generation, my generation.
Yeah.
You're getting the crap versions. That's the ultimate number one, dude. Like, he's just like, okay, I'll watch it. And he comes back and he's just like, dude, I can't believe that. I'm like, how about them one-liners, huh, buddy? Like, he's like, there's so many.
Yeah.
I'm like, that was the 80s, dude. Every 80s movie had 1,000 one-liners. It's just awesome watching him do that because my kid doesn't get excited about that. So, I mean, I taught him how to tattoo, so kind of like my kid.
A little bit.
Watch his VHS tape.
It's so much fun though.
So
I have a box of VHS. I told him I'm gonna dig out. I got a whole bunch of horror films. I'm like, if you're gonna watch VHS movies, I got horror for you. I'm gonna hook you up. Dawn of the Dead. Day of the Dead. Yeah.
Oh man, I watched so much horror movie on VHS.
Yeah.
That I do miss video rental stores like a lot.
I remember renting. I was young, probably 12, 13, around that time. I rented the remake of Night of the Living Dead.
Which I think is probably one of my favorite remakes.
Absolutely. Tom Savini did such an awesome job with that. But I remember renting that, and the first time I rented it, I was such a wuss. It sat on the coffee table all weekend. I never watched it.
Really?
Yeah.
You're too scared to watch it?
Too scared to watch it.
How old were you?
I was like 12, I think, or 13.
What year did that come out? 93? 92?
I thought it was a little later, like 97 or something like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I had that poster. So that video store, the Crescent Video one that's in town, not the one where everybody's smoking, not where it looks like, all the kids from Ninja Turtles in the fucking warehouse being assholes. That's what the other video store was like.
Right.
So the other place, they had a back door. You could walk through the back or the front. Well, when you walk in the back, they had this wall, and there were always movie posters for stuff they were getting. And if you were nice enough and you walked up and talked to the lady at the counter, you're like, hey, can I have a sticky note? She's like, yeah, sure. She handed you a sticky note and a pen. You write your name and your number on it, and you go stick it on that poster. And when they got done using it, they would call you and be like, come pick up your thing. Now, here's what sucks about that. There was always some asshole fucking kid that was taller than you.
Yeah.
You come back in to rent movies, and your name's gone, and his name is stuck on a piece of paper, and it's all the way at the top where you can't reach it. So what I started doing is because they tacked them on there, I'd write my name on a piece of paper, and no matter whose name was on it, I'd try to reach it, rip it off, even if I had to pick up my sister and be like, pick her up, rip that off, take it off. I would untack it, and I would put my name on the back of that fucking thing, and I always got those posters.
There you go.
Dude, I got the Night of the Living Dead remake. I had that hanging in my room. I had Dead Alive.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I wish I still had that.
Was that the one with the
mouth, face ripping open the mouth of the skull?
The mouth, yeah.
Oh, God, that was one of the best posters ever, dude. But I had so many posters.
This says it was in 1990, so
that's not bad.
This is the problem, right? When I think back on these things, it doesn't seem like it was that long ago. So I'm like, oh, that had to have been closer to 2000.
Yeah, no.
Which now even 2000 is 25 years ago. Like, I don't want to fucking think about
I was
that.
10, so I probably saw it like a couple years after that.
So
I wasn't allowed to watch horror movies, so I was like,
yeah,
12.
I think I saw this a couple years after it came out. But when I rented it, I was so scared. Like, I wasted an entire weekend. That was my rental for the weekend. I never watched it. We took it back. And then I rented it again, like maybe 2 or 3 weekends later, because I'm like, I'm going to do it. Do it. I don't know why I was scared of this one, because I was watching Nightmare. I was watching, Friday the 13th. All those things were fine. But this one scared the shit out of me to think about watching it.
Dude, I did that with The Unholy, which is a garbage fucking movie, by the way.
Right, I don't think I've seen it.
It's not good. And you know why I rented it? Because it's the trailer that plays on the Monster Squad VHS. And I'm like, this looks ridiculous. I have to watch it. And it's like something about a church. You have to look it up. It's not good. Like, I didn't watch it for fucking years. Like, not until like 3 or 4 years ago I watched it. And I'm like, this movie fucking sucks. They made it look some of those trailers just made shit look so crazy.
Yeah. And that might have been it, is the trailers for this remake were so good. Like, I was like, oh man, this is gonna be the goriest movie I've ever seen. I can't do that. I don't know if I can do that.
And turns out there's much worse.
Oh, fair.
Yeah, there's much worse. Like, that was pretty tame. He did an amazing job with that. I was probably definitely, if I was picking out reboots, it would definitely be in my top 10.
Oh, easily. This is one I'll throw on if I'm bored, like, and I need some just something to pick me up. I'll put this movie on. It's fucking great. Tony Todd, man,
Yep.
like,
even Tom Towles.
It's hard to talk about Tony Todd, having him, pass recently. But
Yep. I saw pictures of him actually.
Yeah, Tom Towles.
Yeah. Good old Tom.
Bill Moseley in the beginning of it.
Yep.
Like that was
fun. Oh my God, they're coming for you, Barbara. I've always said that. I'm like, when I die, when I pass away, I want to be cremated. But there's a huge but here. I have to have a tombstone. Just put it in a cemetery. I just want my name put on it with my dates. But it has to say, they're coming to get you, Barbara, on it.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Stop it. You're ignorant.
They're coming for you, Barbara.
Stop it. You're acting like a child.
They're coming for you. Look, there comes one of them now.
That's my last laugh joke.
I don't want to.
Here's the best part. No one's going to get it unless they're our age or they're movie nuts.
Well, okay, that does make me wonder, though, not to poo-poo on your idea.
That's fine.
How many people have done that?
I don't know. I don't care. I've been saying this for like 15 years now.
You're going to be
number 2,000.
Probably. Yeah, you're probably right. We're dying off. Nobody remembers that shit.
Yeah, exactly. And then maybe I'll have like my top 10 movies carved in the back of it.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, that'd be fucking hilarious. But someone's gonna walk up and be like, "Coming to get you, Barbara." What the hell does that mean? No one's gonna get it.
Yeah.
But I get the last laugh because it's fucking funny. I always thought that's funny. Yeah, Bill Moseley in that, dude. Oh, dude, speaking of which, not to get too far off track, but Bill Moseley, when he fell down in the cemetery and hit his head on the fucking tombstone.
Oh.
That looks so... Do you ever actually fucking stare at that when it happens? The head on that... Wait, was it him?
Yeah, it was him. Oh, no.
No, it was the zombie.
Yeah, it was the zombie.
That thing is so fake. It's the greatest thing ever, dude.
No, it was him.
It might have been. I
remember his glasses,
broke.
They broke and they had molded it into the head.
Yeah,
because it got pushed in and he was bleeding from his glasses.
That's right.
Arm. Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
It was a neat detail.
Either way, it looked so fake.
And Barbara screamed like, "Ah!"
Yeah, it was so fake.
Her brother
you could literally watch it. Bing! I'm like, oh yeah.
He was a foam.
Oh yeah, a foam head. It was the greatest thing ever.
Well, there was the scene in the house where the zombie's trying to get Barbara, and it's just a dude with a zombie torso on a stick.
Yeah,
and she's whacking it with a fucking rubber. A rubber iron,
yep.
Like the.
That's what made those movies fantastic, dude.
Yeah, well, and even as a kid, I never noticed that. That's
I didn't notice it like that.
Right?
Yeah, it was pretty terrifying. But yeah, they just don't make shit like that anymore, dude.
They do not. But that was one of the ones from the video store that I'll never forget. I'll never forget that moment. That renting that and wasting my rental. My mom told me, she's like, "You're not gonna watch that."
Yeah.
Bitch. No, I'm going to do it.
I remember renting Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh.
And I'm like, let's rent this. My mom reads the back of it, and she's like, no, you're not renting that. She just read the back. All she saw was Sweet Transvestite, Transsexual Transylvania. She's like, you're not fucking watching that.
It's a musical.
She didn't know that. I didn't know that. Never even heard of it. I thought it was in the horror section.
Sure. I think it still is.
Yeah.
It still qualifies.
It's fucking weird, man. But I finally rented it as a teenager. And I watched the whole thing with a buddy, and I'm like, the first time I watched it, I hated it. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? Like, why is this guy wearing fishnets? Where's the gore? What the fuck? We wasted that night. That's what I wasted my $2 on. And I was super pissed. And now it's one of my favorite musicals of all time.
Well, it's your only musical that you like.
I love Grease. I'm just kidding. I don't love Grease. My mom watched that thing. My mom and my sister loved Grease. But... Yeah, no. Grease is one of those movies that I know back to front because my mom and sister watched it nonstop. That was the thing with the VCR. When we didn't have cable, we'd watch a movie. And if my dad liked a movie, even if he rented a movie, he'd put it in, he'd watch it, he'd be like, yep, rewind it, start it over again. He would watch it all over again right after he just finished it.
Wow.
Because he's like, we only have this for a day because it's a new rental. That was before the 5-day rentals.
Oh, yeah. Were you guys kind and did you rewind?
Oh, yeah, because we'd get fined. Yeah. Yeah.
That rhymed.
Yep, sure did. Yeah, no one was to pay.
I didn't know that.
I got yelled at one time for not rewinding a video. My mom's like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Like, you just cost me 50 cents.
Wow.
I'm like,
it cost them 50 cents to rewind your tape. Like, get out of here.
Apparently.
They had those speed rewinders. They just pop it in.
Oh, yeah. The mini ones. I mean, I don't know how many they were because it was
as big as a tape.
1990. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it could have been bigger.
I guess.
Probably half the size of a VCR.
No, it was on the counter. Well, at least at the one that I would go to, it was on the counter. It was like, just as big as a tape. You slide it in, push it down. It reminded me of like an old cassette recorder. Right?
Yeah.
And then you just hit the button, rewind.
Do I read a thing saying they tried to sell those so hard because they didn't want you to wear out your VCR, so you kept buying tapes. They're like, it ruins your VCR when you rewind tapes. I'm like, then why the hell did you put the option on there?
Does it, though?
No, it does the same exact fucking thing. They're just like, you have to buy this so you can rewind it. Because I had a friend in not high school, but like elementary school. His mom would do that. We'd finish a tape, and she'd automatically, she's like, hey, we're done watching this. And she would take it out, go to the table next to the TV, put it in the fucking rewinder, and do it that way. I'm like, what the hell just happened? Like, you're fancy. You're fancy for having that.
Jeez.
I'm poor. I had to rewind mine with my finger.
Just an extra step.
Yeah. You just push stop and rewind the fucking thing.
They sold you a VCR that doesn't play tapes.
Yep. VCRs were expensive. I remember being a kid, my dad getting the first VCR. We hadn't had, it wasn't beta, but it had the pop top.
Oh,
raised up top.
Yeah.
Yep.
Grandpa had one of those.
Those things were rad.
Yeah. My grandpa had one of the big shoulder mounted cameras too. Like he got tapes of us out in his yard and stuff. He loved that stuff.
I found one of those at Goodwill like a month ago.
Yeah.
They wanted $10 for it. And I'm like, I should buy this just for the simple fact of buying it. I didn't do it. And I went back the next day to get it and it was gone.
Yeah, you should have got that.
Someone's making greasy porno with that right now. They're just like, you know what? Let's go back in the day.
Yeah. VHS is coming back, baby.
But yeah, that was pretty much my Saturdays, dude. I'd watch that movie or we'd play video games. And then, I was a kid. So it was like bedtime on the weekends was probably like 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Yeah, I remember that. Like
sometimes every once in a while in the afternoons, we'd watch wrestling. We were talking about that earlier.
Right.
You don't remember wrestling being on Saturday.
I don't know what you were watching.
I mean, it was WWF.
On Saturday, though.
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have been Sunday, but my recollection is Saturdays.
Sure.
Because sometimes it would be on, or there'd be some kind of movie on.
I think it was Sundays.
Okay, I'll believe you. What the hell do I know? I mean, I had that extra day off, too, so. Fucking gnat in here.
I was, like I said, 90s Stone Cold Steve Austin fan, like all the way.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Sweet. So, that was our Saturdays. That was our Saturday episode, Chris.
Yeah.
On a Saturday. We recorded this on a Saturday, talking about Saturdays. Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening to the Toy Monster Podcast. If you haven't already, head over to Instagram, give us a follow, turn that notification bell on. If you're not, go follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And if you have any questions, you can hit us up at toymonsterretro@gmail.com, and we'll see you on the next episode.